Hello and welcome. Tonight we have a football bonanza with live coverage of both the AFC and NFC Championship games. And joining me for the next 5 hours are two of the most prominent players to play in the NFL, Dan Marino and Walter Payton. We'll be talking with them throughout the program. Then at 10 o'clock we'll go live to the NFC Championship game between the reigning Super Bowl champions, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Rams. But before that, the AFC Championship game between the Denver Broncos and Cleveland Browns is already in progress. We'll bring you the live action from that match shortly. But first, here's how the first half developed. It was for this time of year in Denver, and as you can see, not many cars on the street, as the focus of attention centers on Mile High Stadium for the AFC Championship game. We pick up the action on Denver's first possession. It's 2nd and 11 from their own 32.
Elway, 2nd and 11 shotgun.
Blitz.
Down the middle, wide open is Sewell. Steve Sewell still on his feet. He could go all the way. What an effort by Sewell, all the way to the 25-yard line. "43 yards, and much of it done on the effort by Sewell.
There'll be a break right inside, but the critical part is a blitz straight up the middle. And Cleveland talked about not blitzing, playing with a base defense. They blitz right away, unblocked. Gash doesn't get there. Sewell gets the ball. That's Elway at his best.
First down at the Cleveland 25. Elway, the shovel toss to Humphrey. He has 5. He has 10. He has all the way to the 1-yard line. Bobby Humphrey, who almost scores.
These teams are prepared. That entire sequence had been planned out to attack that defense, and everything has worked perfectly, impeccably so far. Now this will be a shovel pass inside with Elway throwing right here. Now watch the effort, the supreme effort these people are making in a championship game. That's why there's such a difference in intensity. Just as you're almost possessed running with that football.
23 yards, they spotted at the 2. First and goal, Denver. Humphrey and Bratton behind Elway. Humphrey. No, he raised one hand, not both.
You wonder if this will put Cleveland in a state of shock, this kind of a drive.
It's Humphrey hit in the backfield, and he stopped for a half-yard loss. Thane Gash, number 30, the safety, shooting in quickly.
Cleveland is attacking right up over the top with their goal line defense. There really isn't anywhere for Humphrey to go. There are 2 linebackers coming in right over the top. Look for Elway, most likely to use one of his bootleg or special plays here. He's been so great at it. If they don't use it this time down here, they'll use it certainly on their next drive.
Only Philadelphia had a tougher run defense in Cleveland in scoring. Elway, the toss. Humphrey fumbles the ball, and Cleveland recovers. Number 96, Andrew Stewart. Stewart, a 4th-round draft pick, a rookie from Cincinnati, and how quickly things turn.
So just like in other games between these two teams, a long drive and then a fumble. But this time neither resulted in any points being scored. Then another turnover. This one by Kozar, which put Denver in excellent field goal range.
Rookie David Treadwell, who has made the Pro Bowl in his first season in the NFL. He's out of Clemson. Kicks a short one of 30 yards. And Denver has the early lead. Officially a 29-yard field goal for David Treadwell. 2 trips for the Broncos, but they come away with only 3.
But John Elway was looking for more than just 3 points.
It's 3-0 Denver. 6 minutes
again.
to go. First half. Elway has a man wide open. Michael Young. Young, the former Ram, has a touchdown. Treadwell makes it 10-0.
Just before halftime, David Treadwell had this 54-yard field goal attempt batted down by Michael Dean Perry to leave the halftime score Denver 10, Cleveland 0. So the halftime score 10-0. Join us after this break for the second half. So 10-0 at halftime. Now let's take a look at what happened early in the third quarter.
Well, Elway's going to have the continuous pressure right up inside, but he's got time here. Now watch him move in between people, and then that spontaneous move. That time the stunt took people so wide that Elway had more time than usual.
2nd and 4. Little delay to Winder. 10. He's to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Denver. Sammy Winder, the veteran from Southern Mississippi, second to Floyd Little in all-time Denver rushing, getting his chance.
Winder made an excellent job of breaking.
Elway throws on 1st down to Mobley. Touchdown!
Mobley was split outside, and Dave Grayson went out to cover him. So you had a linebacker and a big tight end. Grayson, not used to being outside and covering someone like that, lost Mobley at the line of the scrimmage, and it was a beautiful throw by Elway. Excellent tactics. I'm sure they had this play by last Tuesday. They knew they were going to use it at that point on the field.
Treadwell adds the extra point. It's 17-7, an 80-yard drive in 6 plays, and the 6'5" Mobley gets the touchdown, his first of the year.
Elway's dropping back. We don't get a real good look at it, but you see Mobley has a full 2 steps on Grayson when the ball comes down.
Oh, it may be a high-scoring game after all. 8 minutes to go in the third.
So that made the score 17-7. So now let's go live to Mile High Stadium. And the Denver Broncos have just scored, as you can see, Art Modell, not a happy man.
Winder's run. You know, I didn't see it quick enough, so I couldn't give the blocking. Okay.
What is this?
Outstanding lamp overhead.
The end zone, because there's a real cloud right in that corner, and he knew how to go underneath people just at the right moment. You see him coming off the line, excellent blocking all the way, and Bratton doing a fine job, but as he gets into that corner, full speed, watch him go right up underneath people.
And the frustration you saw of the head coach, Bud Carson. He's defensive-minded and helped build the steel curtain in the great days of the Steelers. And he's seen his team worn out by the Buffalo Bills last week. The Bills scoring 30 points and Carson's defense unable to stop Elway, Winder, and company here today. It's 23-7 as Treadwell sets up for the extra point.
I don't question the tactics or the strategy that Bud Carson's used at all. But there have been some plays that have been reckless and unnecessary by certain players on the Cleveland team that's cost him.
Extra point is there. 4 minutes, 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Sammy Winder has given the Broncos 7 more.
So 24-7 to Denver, and what great timing to go over to the game. Right now we're going to roll some film, and I want Dan and Walter to tell me what you thought of this touchdown.
first play, that's a stutter or misdirection play, and Walter knows how to run these, I'm sure.
Well, the best thing for him is he's got the two big lead blockers out in front of him. He has the speed. He turns it on, heads for the corner. The defense closes on him. He just nips the end and gets in there. And that's the key thing, because when they'll get those guards and those tackles pulling out there like that, it makes it very easy for the halfback or the running back to get into the end zone, simply because they could use them to hide behind and end up working his way into the end zone. Perfect.
I think the key to the play, too, is the misdirection that they do. They show the play going one way, then they come back the other, and that gets the linebackers moving in one direction, and they get the linemen out ahead of them, and they could go to the corner of the end zone, like Walter said.
24-7. What have the Cleveland Browns now got to do to get back in this game?
Well, I think the key for them is to score. They need a touchdown right now, right away. The next time they get the ball, they need to drive down the field and score, get points on the board, and that'll still keep them in range where they have a shot to win the game.
But the key thing is Humphrey, who was hurt, so that hurts the Denver running game. If they have to continue to pass the ball and they don't make any first downs, they're not going to take off a lot of time on the clock, and it's going to give Cleveland more time with the ball, which they pass anyway. And Cleveland still might be in this. If Denver can't establish any type of running game, then they're going to be in trouble.
Dan, you've got the first play to call. You've got the ball around the 20 maybe. What are you going to do on this first play?
I'm going to have to throw the ball downfield somewhere. The problem with Cleveland's passing game is they don't like to throw the ball downfield like Denver does. So Cleveland's going to have to take short passing down the field, try to get points on the board.
All right, well, let's go back to Mile High Stadium and see if Dan's predictions come true.
Possession, and there's Sammy Winder from Jackson, Mississippi, where he owns a construction company. He's kept his mouth shut. He's a great team guy, while a rookie Humphrey has taken his job, and he's delivered today. Here's Keith Jones, plan B from the Rams, and he gets to the 28 and pays the price. Kip Corrington making the tackle.
Well, it's worth looking at this play again, the scoring play, to watch Bratton lead the ball carrier right up the field. Right here, we had a guard and Bratton leading straight up the field. Right at this point, he takes on a man and knocks him right off the line of scrimmage, and he gets another one. So running a course, he took two people and just picked him right off.
By both Dixon and Big Daddy Hairston. Kozar at the noisy end of Mile High out of the shotgun. Deep down the field has Langhorne, and a tough catch at the 45 of Denver. You know, he's shown that throughout the year in the games. Langhorne makes the tough catches better than the easy ones.
Well, went right up for that one. He knew there'd be a safety man coming up the field, so he first has to elude two people, then break into the post, then catch a ball over his head, knowing a safety man would be there.
No huddle for the Browns. Elway. Complete. And it's Lawyer Tillman, who caught only 6 this year. A bit of a disappointment, this number 2 pick out of Auburn. Another first down. And they stopped the clock with 3:29 left in the third period.
Kozar did pretty much what Elway does so well. He got up underneath a pass rusher, then moved outside and threw on the run. He didn't look very pretty doing it, but he sure got it done.
From the 30-yard line. Brennan. Short yardage, well covered by Simon Fletcher, number 73, who is 6'6" and 240.
Well, one thing you can give Cleveland credit for, they're not going with a huddle. They're not going to waste the time of a huddle. They're going to do it right at the line of scrimmage. That'll give them a chance to get back in the game. And it also forces Denver to keep a basic, more simplified defense on the field.
Denver leads 24-7. Kozar trying to get a quick score here in the late third quarter. Underneath he goes, and it's Webster Slaughter to the 10-yard line.
Cleveland's moving right up. Denver's going to have to call a timeout if they want to change their defense. Cleveland's not going to let them do it. They're going to come right to the line of scrimmage.
You're right on, Bill Walsh. Dennis Smith looking to the sidelines with his hands out saying, what do we do? Calls time. That's the second one used by the Broncos here in the second half. Mack is in there.
Well, they're playing for the pass. They have 4 pass rushers. Their nickel defense to stop Kozar at this point.
So do you try a run? Nope. Into the end zone, incomplete. He had a man open. It appeared to be Brennan again who caught the touchdown pass earlier.
Well, it was just a spontaneous play. Kozar just put a little too much on it.
It was Reggie Langhorne, 88.
You see him come to the inside, not a real factor, but when Kozar gets in trouble, he overthrows it. Well, those are such critical plays, and you can remember them for months afterwards.
Langhorne right with Tillman. Slaughter and Brennan, the smaller tandem, to the left. Underneath, incomplete to Brennan. Yes, touchdown. Wait, he caught it. He caught the ball in with his body. It looked as if it rolled free on the ground in the end zone, but apparently, as he scrambled, the quick hands of Brennan, able to scrape the ball to his body, he embraces 6 more.
Well, that was a beautiful job, releasing up inside, then around Braxton, stops, then goes again. And what a great play.
Are those hands?
But what he did was get Braxton turned completely around. And when Braxton looked back, he went into the end zone again.
There was Brian Brennan that was almost the hero in the drive game 3 years ago. He caught a touchdown to give the Browns a 7-point lead late in the 4th quarter.
You see him reaching for that ball, just concentrating on it. And it was out, but he kept it from hitting the ground.
That is a remarkable catch. Brian Brennan has a pair. They're reviewing it now, but well, I'm not even going to say now because every time I think it's one way from our picture, it goes the other. So we'll wait to see.
See him releasing to the outside.
Play Stems is called touchdown.
I'm out of my slump.
Just well done. But again, it took Kozar moving and Braxton being fooled because he looked back toward Kozar and lost his receiver.
Matt Barr adds the extra point, and with 2:12 remaining in the 3rd period, the Cleveland Browns pull to 24-14. Well, looking ahead, as we wrap up our coverage of the NFL, we can look forward to some exciting action next week out at Palm Desert, California, the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. You'll have President Gerald Ford and Johnny Bench, Glenn Campbell, Julia Serving, and others playing in the celebrity round with Tom Kite and Palmer and Watson and all the game's best. One of the highlights of the golf tour. We hope you'll be with us next Saturday and Sunday. Brian Gumbel debuts as the host of NBC's golf coverage.
Where will you and I be, Dick? We'll be on the putting green. They're practicing putting while they're out.
The day you see me on a putting green, I owe you some. Bernie Kosar, man who grew up as a Cleveland Brown fan, a Brian Sipe fan, and yeah, his demeanor, the way he plays the game, the way he talks to you, totally masks the competitive fire of this young guy. Wagner again, a long kick. Boys, he kicked off the ball well today. He has not given the Broncos a chance to return. They'll start at the 20, and here comes Elway and the offense again. Just when Dan Reeves might have breathed a little easier, hey, we got a nice lead here, 24-7. Kozar takes about 2 minutes to score.
Well, it's pretty obvious that Denver at this point is going to have to get field position if they were to give the ball up, because Cleveland getting the ball near the 50-yard line is going to go right back in again.
72 yards in 6 plays. It took Kozar 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Winder. Hanford Dixon, the top dog, off the right corner to make the tackle.
It was a great block from the outside on Gash coming up inside that really saved that play, because those safety men for the Browns are deadly tacklers.
Thane Gash, that just sounds like a safety man. 7th round pick last year. He has produced.
He's coming up into the line of scrimmage. You can see him on the screen acting as a linebacker to stop the run. Elway's changing the play because of it.
So often likes to blitz when he comes in from there. Not this time. And off is to Melvin Brad. Fumbles the ball, goes right to Felix Wright, and this is going to be a Cleveland touchdown. Unbelievable for Dan Reeves and the Bronco fans, and just like that, the Browns are going to be within 3 if they can kick the extra point.
A simple trap play. Everything looks good at this point, and the ball is pulled out just before the line of scrimmage.
And the freak nature of it, you see Clay Matthews batted it. It hit the helmet of Bratton and bounced up to Wright, and Wright scores the touchdown. Oh no, hold on now. They're saying he stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Wright did not get in. He stepped out at the 1.
Number 74 has reported as an eligible receiver. Number 76.
Here comes Wright with Elway cutting him off, and Elway may have saved the touchdown.
Looks so tight right along that sideline. His left foot actually hit the marker on the sideline. He had to be even closer to the goal line than that. Right there on the 1-yard line.
Good
right
call.
At the 1-yard line. Excellent call by the official.
So Elway, even on defense, makes it tough.
Well,
as he saved a score.
I believe it was Al Baker who made a big stop there and just held on long enough and hard enough to pull that ball out of there.
1:13 left in the third quarter. From the 1-yard line, Kozar with Manoa and Mack behind him. It's Mack hitting the backfield for a loss. Knifing through was Andre Townsend, number 61.
Townsend just got underneath everybody immediately. I don't know if crowd noise had something to do with people getting off the ball or not, but he just penetrated right at the snap into the backfield.
Confirming that it was Bubba Baker that stripped the ball from Melvin Bratton, and then a freak play as Matthews dribbled it off Bratton's helmet. It bounced up to Felix Wright, who returns to the 1. Now 2nd and goal from the 2. Mack goes out, and Barry Redden comes in. Kozar saying, "I can't hear." And this is, we'll see if they penalize the Browns. There's the clock down to 0. They're going to give Kozar a penalty or give him a second chance. Now, in the old days here, a quarterback would have been allowed a fair chance to call a play. The way it's gone lately, they're just giving you a penalty when you try to fight the crowd.
I don't understand. The whole penalty mechanism they put together wasn't practical. Then it's so hard to implement. But on the other hand, it's sort of a cop-out by the officials for not to implement the thing.
Well, apparently they're not going to call a penalty, at least no indication at this point.
Well, there couldn't be any more noise in any stadium that we're getting now.
Even a dome stadium?
Well, not right down to that end zone. There's so much noise with all the stakes that exist.
And again, it comes back to, is a visiting team allowed a chance to move the play, to actually play?
Please return the game clock to 10 seconds. Please return the game clock to 10 seconds.
But they're going to give them 10 seconds to get a play off.
Please return the game clock to 10 seconds.
The game just gets disrupted through this, doesn't it, Dick? Honestly,
please return the 30-second clock to 45 seconds.
Oh, gee. I honestly think the only way we're going to solve this in the NFL is to have a equipment in the helmets so the quarterback can talk to his people and use it. Now, it's been impractical in a sense, but there's been enough progress with a system of communication in the helmet that it can be, like so many other things, it can be refined.
So a no decision. It's 2nd and goal. Manoa, touchdown, Cleveland.
What a beautiful play. I believe that was Middleton, the tight end, as a flanker, came in motion and trapped one of the tackles, and Manoa was right in behind him.
1 second left in the third quarter, and Middleton, who was in and out of the Cleveland Brown lineup during the course of the year. A story that you heard last week from Merlin and Charlie in the win against Buffalo. Ron Middleton made the block.
Well, we'll get a chance to look at it, and it was a great job by Middleton going right up inside, and the penetration across the line of scrimmage almost did the job for him.
Matt Barr. It's 24-21.
was a good job of Manoa hitting up inside, and what a wild game we're going to have, because both teams can now throw the ball. You'll see Middleton coming in motion here and attempting to trap, but the penetration is up the field too far. But the key block is right here on the linebacker coming to make the stop. So you'll see him in motion, right up inside, going to the ground. But look at the block on the linebacker right there by Ted Banker, the left guard. Beautiful job.
Well, as we enjoy the pictures and the replays, men who have been with us all year long, John Gonzalez, our director, and John Ferratzis, our producer. A brilliant job again today as we enjoy apparently another classic between the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos. Remember 2 years ago here, the Browns were 18 points down, 28-10 in the second half, and came back and were looking for a possible tie when Biner fumbled on the Denver 2-yard line. And I wonder if any of those thoughts are going through Bernie Kosar. Remember that great shot of him going over to offer his empathy to Biner. And Kosar has not admitted it, but that elbow and finger are hurting him. You know, he's like Jimmy Brown. They say that Kosar won't be seen in the trainer's room. He'll come in at a time early in the morning, late at night. They said that about Jimmy Brown. He'd go in at 6 in the morning. He didn't even want his teammates to know that he was hurting in any way.
Well, that's Bernie Kosar. So he can bring his team back now. There isn't any question about it. And Elway can naturally.
Look at Wagner. He's kicking that right through the uprights just about from his own 35-yard line. Another touchback, and that is the end of the third quarter. An exciting third period for Kosar and the Browns. They're back in it. Quiet at Mile Hay Stadium now. 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Well, let's double check it. 4 minutes and 18 seconds is the time that it took for Cleveland to score 14 points in what is now a record-tying playoff quarter, 35 points by two teams. It ties the record set by the Redskins, who are the two teams against Denver in the Super Bowl when they scored 35 in the second quarter of the Super Bowl game. 24-21, 15 minutes or sudden death to the Super Bowl here in Denver. Elway starts at his 20. Wide open, Vance Johnson, the 40, and tackled at the 42, 22 yards.
Hanford Dixon was just almost mesmerized out there. That quick throw to the outside even surprised him. You see him sitting back, sort of relaxing and giving ground. Now he's a little indecisive coming upfield and makes the big miss. But of course it took Gash to really put it away.
Vance Johnson on his greatest season, 76 catches, not good enough to make the Pro Bowl. This talented artist, his paintings now selling in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Elway again will throw on first down, and he's looking big. And Dixon this time had good coverage on Johnson.
Well, Dan Reeves is going right after Cleveland. And some people would begin to run the ball, not so much use the clock, but to avoid any error, any kind of a fluke thing that would happen. But he's got Winder who can run effectively and people who can block, so we'll see what he does. The problem with throwing is the incomplete pass. There's Humphrey.
Bobby Humphrey injured early in the game, injured ribs, so Sammy Winder has replaced him. 4 wideouts. Clay Matthews anticipating the count, offside, a free play for Elway. Completes it, first down at the 45 of the Cleveland Browns. Ricky Nattiel, one of the three amigos that we don't hear much about this year. Nattiel suffered through a knee injury the course of the year.
Matthews was going to blitz that time, and he moved straight up the field right across the line of scrimmage so early, trying to beat the center is what he was trying to do.
We have a false start on number 66.
Oh, it's going to be against Denver.
Penalty. Play is still a second down.
Against Jim Juriga, the guard.
I am trying to find it, Dick. I really am. You see, here's where the penalty's called. We obviously see an offsides, but I just can't see that guard move. Maybe the viewers can spot something I can't see. There's no movement anywhere.
Well, that's the Tom Mack play. Remember years back, the Rams down on the goal line against the Vikings in Bloomington, Minnesota. Mack 15 years later says he still hasn't moved off his stance. Cost him 5 and cost him the chance to the Super Bowl. The Rams, at least that's how they. Well, that's Merlin Olsen's side of the story.
Yeah,
I must
I'm
say
sure
it's a bit biased.
You know, Dick, just in passing, we kidded OJ at halftime about playing for me and for the 49ers. But the one thing OJ did for the 49ers is really had a touch of class, and I think he sort of civilized some of the guys we had on our team. I can't say that he was a 1,000-yard rusher at that time.
Well, he said you'd never give him the ball.
You talk about the training room in the tub. We learned the backstroke, the butterfly, and everything else during the year.
Second down and long. Away, pressured from behind, gets it away, incomplete. The hit made by Mark Harper on Vance Johnson, who was juggling it at the 45. So 3rd and 15.
A crazy setup developed there. Matthews, 57, a great linebacker, but not a great coverage man, was covering Sewell, one of the best backfield receivers in the league that time, and Sewell really had him beat. So I'm sure Shanahan and Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, are spotting those kind of things.
24-21, Denver leads. 13:49 left in the 4th quarter, and it's 3rd and 15 for Elway. And offside, Cleveland. Elway a free play going deep. Incomplete to Natil, and Natil felt that he was pushed. There was a bump downfield.
Dick, the agony that must be going through the intestines, or whatever you'd call it, of these coaches right now for Cleveland. They're just on the edge of bringing their team out of it, and they're jumping off sides and things of that nature. Just the agony. I remember as a coach what you'd go through.
97, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 3rd down.
Robert Banks, defensive right end.
Banks is going to move way early. He's so anxious to get there. He'll come across the line a full 2 steps, and obviously he'll be spotted every time.
Bubba Baker warned his teammates about Elway in his count. He said, don't look at the ball and don't listen to Elway. Wait till you see that the ball actually snap before you do anything. Now on 3rd and 10. That's Michael Dean Perry. He can't catch Elway, who now throws it downfield. Complete! What a catch and what a throw! Vance Johnson.
I can't believe it. Elway running full speed left and throwing the ball up to his left. Now this is where he's at his best. But watch him on the run. Now watch how he just flips the ball right up over the top.
Boy, that's the second baseman, a little soft roller throwing to first base, but not into heavy traffic and hitting his man perfectly.
Everything's pretty well covered, but when Elway moves, there's a movement by Johnson back to the outside, and they just adjust naturally.
And Minifield couldn't have had better coverage.
No.
First down, Elway throws, and this is going to be a pass by Sewell, but he can't get it away. That's that long lateral to Sewell, and then Sewell trying to throw downfield, but well covered was Jackson downfield.
Well, Sewell really wanted to get that ball off. They've been practicing it all along, with a lineman coming out with Sewell, and there's a blitz, by the way, on this play. But with Sewell coming to the outside, he'll have a lineman come out with him. Now he wants to throw a lateral pass, which it is. Now we're looking to throw the ball up, but Baker was right there to the outside reading the play.
I'm not sure that was a lateral. Bill Walsh had it been complete, and had he thrown the ball, it might have been illegal, and the punishment coming from Grayson on the blitz. On 2nd and 12. Down the middle, wide open is Winder. Sammy Winder! All the way, touchdown!
It was an all-out blitz again. They just kept going to it. And Winder breaking to the inside. Just had all the room he wanted to run with the ball. Kyle Kramer was trying to cover him. And Winder coming out of the backfield just made a quick move. There was no one there because if Cleveland were to lose this game, I'm sure that Bud Carson would say, why one too many blitzes? One too many.
David Treadwell adds the extra point. Kyle Kramer was the man trying to cover Winder.
Here's Elway with the ball. He's going to have a lot of heat with people blitzing up inside, but he's got Winder isolated one-on-one, and it's all over.
Minifield misses the tackle. Kramer can't get there, and it's a 10-point lead for Sammy Winder, and we'll return to Mile High Stadium in Denver after these messages from your local. Scott notes Sammy Winder, not known for his receptions, was the man who caught what proved to be the winning touchdown 2 years ago in the fumble game. Now a 10-point advantage again for Denver. They led 10-0 at the half. Treadwell, Eric Metcalf. And he fails to get to the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Denver.
They went to the blitz one too many times. You'll see a blitz outside here. Everyone else coming up the field, but Kramer is not in position to handle Winder breaking across the field. So you'll see Kramer sort of faking on the outside like he's going to blitz, but he doesn't have position to cover that pattern, breaking to the inside, and just excellent running after the catch by Winder.
And Bud Carson has not been a happy warrior the last 2 weeks. His defense much too generous. 30 last week, 31 today. Now it's Kozar's turn. Batted incomplete at the line of scrimmage. Simon Fletcher, 73, in front of Kozar.
The offensive line just gave a little bit too much ground, and people telegraphed the throw. At this point, whether the players know it or not, there's a certain fatigue factor that enters into the game. The blitzers don't quite get there. The offensive linemen give a little bit too much ground, and these kinds of things start to happen. Players really unaware of it, but the fatigue factor begins to enter into the game.
12 minutes plus remaining. Kozar, incomplete, another drop. And that's what we mean about Langhorn. He's dropped a couple that seemed to be easy, and he's made a couple of catches that were quite difficult.
Well, the idea of the no huddle that Cleveland went to earlier would appear to be the formula that they need with this much time remaining. Keep Denver in a basic defense, but now Denver's gone in there with the 4 linemen playing all the way for the pass.
3rd down and 10 for Kozar. Down the field, intercepted. Kip Corrington. Kozar flushed under the pressure, throwing off balance and over the head of Langhorn.
Well, a poorly thrown ball. Kozar felt the heat right here. He's looking to his left. Now he looks right, and he sort of lobs the ball up over the top, well out of the reach, and it was Langhorn couldn't come near it.
So 1st down at the 40 on the turnover.
Now here's the running game. Should take effect now.
Winder and the veteran slippery as he moves ahead for 5. Bud Carson, when we talked to him a couple days ago about the keys to the game, he came out very forwardly. He said it's easy. The team that has possession time and turnovers will win the game. That was the formula. Whoever has the ball the most amount of time and takes advantage of turnovers. And so far, he's in the minus pool on both those counts. And it shows on the scoreboard, 10-point lead.
Well, most likely Denver just stay with that run now and use the clock and also get in position to take a field goal. There's a trap.
Winder, met rudely.
Boy, is it great.
Yard gain.
Dick, is it great to have a Winder on the bench. Here, this fine all-around player with a history with the Broncos, that's ready to play, that has that maturity to play championship football. It's great to have him backing up the great young rookie Humphrey.
Well, Humphrey, who has learned from Winder, who, despite the fact they compete for the same spot, has been a great supporter of this young talent. And Winder, of course, a Pro Bowler twice himself, 84 and 86. And you know, it's the mark of a pro, isn't it, that a veteran like that has kept himself ready. You never know when the moment is going to arise, and he's answered the bell. And there's the last time out in this second half for Elway and the Broncos, as he didn't like the defensive set he was staring at on 3rd and a long 4. Timeout, 10:47 remain in the 4th. And sensational overview shot. Those flying pictures are provided by Top Shot. Adding to the grand sights here in Denver today. 3rd down, long 4. The draw again by Elway, and he's got another first down, and he struggles to the 22. What a weapon he is. He wanted more. Kramer finally got him to the turf.
Elway used the blocking that they use on that shovel pass that was stopped earlier. Elway kept the ball behind the pulling lineman. You'll see him come underneath as a quarterback, carrying the ball with a pulling guard and tackle in front of him.
Could have had more. I thought it was going to be an inside the park homer, and I had to settle for a double. He was a 300 hitter 1 year in the Yankee minor league system. To the 20. Clay Matthews, 57, and others there for the tackle.
Gibson playing excellent football, isn't he? He's tough inside.
Calvin Bratton doesn't want to go back to the huddle. Meanwhile, the clock runs. 9:39, 9:38 left. After a 10-0 first half, there were 6 touchdowns scored in the next 8 possessions in the 3rd and early 4th quarter. 3 by Denver, 3 by Cleveland. Cleveland scored twice in the final 4:19 of the 3rd period to get back in the game at 24-21. Second down, Winder smacked at the 20.
Well, he's audibling to traps. Cleveland's getting in a front that's ideally suited for it, but they're just not holding their blocks long enough.
Matthews and Johnson, the linebackers, filling the hole, and now the extra wide receivers come on, and the extra defensive backs counter for Bud Carson.
You'll see a trap coming right here to the outside, the ball carrier coming through, but the penetration inside is just cutting the play off. They've got the ideal front they want. You see the blitzing linebacker, and the whole play stuffed.
Oh, it was Grayson that got there first. David Grayson. 3rd and a short 8. Elway to Johnson, but his momentum carried him out of bounds shy of a first down at about the 17, so only 3 yards on the play. Mark Harper on the coverage.
Dick Elway was hit flush as he threw that football. You can see the pain and the anguish coming with him right here. He has a man on his backside. I can't identify him yet. There it is, right there. What a shot. It's just like getting run into by a moving automobile. Wow.
So Treadwell will try to give the Broncos a 13-point lead. 34-yard attempt. Kubiak to hold. That's why he's going to the Pro Bowl inside the 40, almost automatic. 34-21 Denver. Now the Kip Corrington interception leads to 3 more for the Broncos.
Well, Metcalf's going to get another chance to return a kickoff. On a couple of them, he's been close. So what they need now is a big kickoff return to get field position to try to get in the end zone quickly. That's easy to say, isn't it, Dick?
Well, if they can score 2 touchdowns in a little over 4 minutes, that seems like a lot of time. 8:22 left.
Well, it all comes down to 8 minutes. All these months of work and sacrifice and commitment on the part of the players and coaches, ownership. Here it is.
Is that what you said to yourself in the sidelines when you were the 49ers? You said, gee, it's the coaches and the fans and the players and the coaches? Is that the kind of stuff you were thinking
No,
about?
but I knew the guys upstairs were saying it. So I figured someday I'll get a chance to be very philosophical in the last waning minutes of a game.
Have you come a long way since London in August? Metcalf won't return this one. Mike Oliphant, number 33, told him to stay in there. So we've had 10 drives in the second half with 7 scores, 6 touchdowns and a field goal, and now it's Kozar's turn. A touchdown would give the Browns, or get the Browns, within 6.
Just going to have to get up the field.
From downtown Denver into the stadium, Mile High McNichols Arena, the basketball arena to the left. I'll bet they can hear the noise downtown.
Can you feel the vibration? Gee.
With the fans chanting Bernie, Bernie, Bernie does, and Slaughter gets 9 on the throw.
Just get going, Webster. Get back in the, well, get back to the line of scrimmage. There's no use talking to the opposition now. Just play.
Here they go to the no-huddle offense, which worked so effectively at the end of the third quarter.
So they're not using a snap count. When Kozar lifts his leg, that tells the center to snap on his own count.
And 2nd and 1. Brannon with another juggling catch. Oh, what a magician, and now a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Brennan making the remarkable touchdown catch, but that one will be called back for holding. So the penalty flags have been a bit unkind to the Browns. Not that they haven't deserved them.
It is so tough because that's the variable. When the fouls are called, the infractions are called, it just can devastate a team, and officials are there to monitor the game and direct it.
Early, defense, number 68, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
Ted Banker, the former Kansas City Chief, a Plan B acquisition. That's 55 yards against Cleveland, 5 yards against Denver today. So instead of a first down, it's 2nd and 11. What a catch by Langhorne. I guess the key to Langhorne, you just got to put him with 3 men on him, smacking him around, and he just pulls it in. 13 yards and a first down at the 32.
Well, that was a great comeback. Pressure play all the way. Pressure play, because that was the ball game.
With 7 minutes to go, and Cleveland down by 13. Kozar incomplete, intercepted. Dennis Smith at the 45. Running back, he's running out of gas. He's down at the 47-yard line, but Dennis Smith, 3-time Pro Bowler from Southern California, and that may be the fatal blow for Cleveland.
Ted Banker is down and looks seriously injured.
Look at Smith. He was running out of fuel.
Again, a ball took off on Bernie Kozar. Smith was just there, sort of protecting the field. The ball goes over everyone's head and just careens into Smith.
Now the Broncos, with a 13-point lead, have the ball in Cleveland territory. Now the Broncos in command, 34-21 with just 6:50 left. Kozar can only hope now the Denver offense sputters and the Browns come up with a big play. Winder slipping outside and to the 45, a gain of 3. David Grayson, the tackler.
An incomplete pass or driving that ball carrier out of bounds is critical if it can somehow be done to stop the clock, because every play that Denver runs now is good for at least 40 seconds on the clock, and that's going to be the way they'll win the game. Just run it out and use the clock.
But Carson has 3 timeouts left, but he'd like to save them for when he has the ball. Bratton fumbled, unlikely to get the ball. It's going to be Winder's game here in the final minutes. Behind Bratton's block, he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Bubba Baker. Spend a timeout here. What do you think, Bill?
No, he's got 13 points he's got to pick up, so he just can't call him yet. So Elway will use the entire clock. And if he throws the ball, which they did earlier, Dick, I believe it was the Raider game, Elway threw a couple of times, remember, when he had a lead and the Raiders got the ball back and could have run it. So I'm sure this time now he'll use that clock. And don't concern yourself with the score. He'll punt the ball down to the, obviously, the goal line if they can, but they don't want to stop the clock. Oh, he's in the shotgun.
With Sewell in there, it's likely he'll get the ball. And he does. And look at that! To the 32 and a first down. The Browns could ill afford that play.
That was a beautifully blocked play. You'll see guard and tackle pulling. A great job by Wydell and Lanier pulling up the field, and then still cutting back behind the blocks. Very well done. And of course, Cleveland had to play for the pass with that shotgun formation.
They don't use him on the rush often, but he averages over 6 yards a carry to Sewell, and he had the best average per catch of any running back in the league this year, 16.6 per reception.
Another trap. Baker beats the trapper. Wydell tried to trap him. Baker came right around and made the stop.
4:30 on the clock. And this must be painful for Bud Carson and Art Modell and the Cleveland fans, so hungry for that chance to go to the big party, as Ozzie Newsome called it. That's the one thing left in a great career. And for this man, too, incredible. 29 years with one of the most successful franchises. And Ozzie Newsome, who has been a great Cleveland Brown player for 12 seasons. And neither man has had that Super Bowl thrill.
You know, Dick, this is likely to be Ozzie Newsome's last game.
By Mike Johnson, but hangs on to the ball. Ozzie Newsome hinted that with his great allegiance to his alma mater, the University of Alabama, and with Gene Stallings getting the job there, that perhaps a call would come, we suspect it already has arrived, asking Newsome to come back and coach. And even though he's welcomed by Art Modell to stay in the organization in the front office, and as Art told us, the door will always be open, Modell, we put it to him blankly, said, I would never stop Ozzie from going back to Bama. And I sense that's where we're going to hear from Ozzie next.
Well, he calls Bama family. You can see how tightly structured they are and how much they care for each other.
Here's Elway looking to throw and has a man wide open. Mobley goes out of bounds with a first down at the 16, and now they can seriously start to celebrate in Denver.
Well, Bubba Baker was out there with John. The two of them sort of vying with each other. You see him out there. He just can't keep up with John. He's played the entire game defensively and is weary and just couldn't stay with John, or he could have made the play.
And how prophetic that pass for Elway. As Bud Carson said, we've got to keep Elway in the pocket. We have to contain him. He's so dangerous throwing on the run. And the big play again that'll lead up more time. 3:04, and Winder hitting the backfield as charging through is Felix Wright. And now with those 3 timeouts, will they use one here?
They should call him now, Dick. It's the only hope they have. They've got to get the clock stopped, or they'll just run right out of time.
Well, they don't want to use the time.
He wants a timeout. Bud does, and they're not looking.
20 seconds on the 45-second clock. 2:28 now on the game clock. Wisely using every second, and now it's to Winder down at the 18-yard line, and Bud Carson is 5 yards on the field to let him know he wants a timeout here, and the clock is stopped with 2:10, and they'll have the 2-minute timeout as well.
Well, excellent play calling by the coaches. They're trapping.
Almost begging, hoping that he'll have a chance to use one before this game is beyond his reach. But at this point, it'll take a absolute miracle. 13-point Denver lead. The Broncos have the ball. 3rd down and 3 at the 17-yard line. 3rd down and 13 with 2:10 to go. Elway to Sewell. Minifield trips him up, and he goes out of bounds. Oh my, that is a break for Cleveland, although it really only saved 3 seconds because the 2-minute timeout is coming up after the 3 ticks on the clock. Here comes Treadwell, who will take us the 2-minute mark with a field goal that might well put this game away. More than a 2-touchdown lead. The Broncos should be on their way to New Orleans.
Well, they'll be better this time than the last. I'm sure of that. They have a better team. This Bronco team's much more physical than the previous Super Bowl teams they've had. So I think they'll stand up better against the NFC this time around.
Treadwell from 31 yards. Has made his way to the sidelines. His team is 2 minutes away from another Super Bowl chance.
Denver Broncos.
Yet to win the Super Bowl trophy. Treadwell lines it low again. Metcalf. Oh, going to take it out. Didn't have to. And is dropped at the 10-yard line. Well, there have been talk here in Denver. Some writers, feature writers, have suggested that Elway and the Broncos shouldn't win today because it was so destructive, their defeats in the 2 Super Bowls where they were bombed out by the Giants and the Redskins, and it hurt the whole image of the city, the pride of the city. Well, here's Dan Reeves' answer to those people who said don't win today.
Well, Dick, I bet you can count on one hand the people that really bought that song and dance about Denver shouldn't go to the Super Bowl because it might be disappointing. They've got great fans here and they believe in their team.
Pat Bowlen had the answer. Well, those people are not fans who think that. Down goes Kozar at the 1-yard line. Andre Townsend on his back.
These are agonizing moments for Cleveland and their fans. Oh, I know how you feel, Bud. But Bud's done an excellent job, Dick, Bud Carson. And Art Modell's got a team that can come back. They've got to tighten up certain features of their offense. And they'll be back. But boy, is this tough.
Out of his own end zone, Mack. Little draw out to the 12-yard line, fumbled after he was down. Well, for Modell, Art Modell, 29 years and such a prominent member of the old guard in the National Football League, the wound has to be deeper and deeper. He came into this league when football was the business. There wasn't all that big money from television, outside revenues. Kevin Mack fumbles the ball as he carries to the 18-yard line. Didn't get out of bounds, so the clock runs 52 and 51.
You know, Art Modell feels badly, disappointed, I'm sure not discouraged, but Paul, he has to be reminded how much people really respect him in the National Football League. They're not equating his greatness to a Super Bowl. They know he's had great teams, and they know he's been extremely competitive.
Kozar runs into Simon Fletcher with 28 seconds. And meanwhile, a Denver Bronco team, a team that was beaten, thrashed 4 times last year, embarrassed as they went 8-8. So the major changes were made. Patrick Bowlen says get players. Dan Reeves had the courage to fire a long-time assistant.